Okay, I am now going to drill this angle iron into, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm trying to drill through the frame, and I'm going to bolt a piece of angle iron here for the back side of the tank.
Me and the boys was sitting around drinking, we was talking about things that we was thinking, when all of a sudden what comes out of Bill's mouth? Said I'm getting old and fat and slow, and I don't recover like I did before from nights of rabble, rousing and too much fun. Well, I looked around and we all agreed, and I had a drink and I ordered 3, and I staggered back to do it all again. Then we made an oath on a rum and coke with the best intention, I'm sure you know, that we would stop this living in excess. We're gonna have one more party, one more special occasion. Do it Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, holidays and weekends. We can have one more party. There's more hell we should be raising. One more party now, one more party tonight.
Making sure I'm not drilling through any wires. Whew, that's pretty tough to drill through, that's for sure. Yeah, I got a lock on this thing. Why don't I do that? Alright, one hole in. Now let's go to the other side. Whew, leaves a bunch of shavings on me. Alright, now we're going to go over here and drill this other hole. I already started the pilot, but so it shouldn't take too long to go through. Oh, I gotta be getting close, don't I? Whew. Alright, we're through. Got 2 holes. Now let's see what the next step is to bolt this down and then center the tank. So let me go get some bolts. Okay, so I got 2 bolts and 2 nuts. And I'm just going to do a little bit of test fitting here first, because the next thing I need to do is drill through the back side of the tank angle iron mount. So I'm just going to kind of roughly finger tighten this and do the same thing over here. If I can find the hole. Oh, there's a piece of metal hanging out there. Let me do something. Woo! There, I think I got it. Oh yeah. All right, where's the hole? There it is. And we'll go finger tight here, make sure everything is where I want it. All right, looks pretty good. I think once I bolt everything down, those two angle irons should be able to hold a lot of weight. All right, next step. Let's center the tank on this hole, or between the frame. Yikes. Well, get tangled up. And we're going to jack this up into position now. Alright, now I gotta look around here and see how am I gonna put this in place. So that's gotta be there, and this has to be a bit over this direction. Okay. Dang it. Everything has fallen on me. All right. Let me see here. Is that where I'm going to put it? Probably. Let me feel around over here. Nope, I got to go left a little ways. There we go. Come back this way. All right. That feels just about where I want it. Okay. All right, one more little pump. Okay. Now is the front where I want it? That will work. Is the front on this side where I want it? Yeah, I think that'll work too. Okay. Let me grab my white strips again. Tighten them up a little bit. All right, this side needs to come back. There we go. Now I got to tighten it back up. All right, those are level there. Those are fairly level there. Hold on, let me try that a little better. All right, let's set her down. Oh yeah, I think that will work fairly well. Okay, next question. I need to do a little bit of marking back here to see just how far forward I can go. All right, it looks like the frame starts to bow up about right here. So I can't put any real holes in front of it there. And same thing on this side. It goes to about right here. So now I can do the mount holes for the other two angles and add those two. All right, so that being said, let's take the two bolts out because now we know where the tank is going to be placed on the back angle iron. There's one. And let's go take out the other one. And then we'll pull the tank out and go make some more holes on the drill press. All right. I think we're in pretty good shape now for positioning. We'll set this down a little bit so I can get it out of here. Okay. All right, guys. Let's see. Let's move that. Okay, next thing to do is take all these bolts out. And I gotta drill a whole bunch more holes. So, we're just gonna set all these aside. Hopefully, and not lose any. Or many. That one's coming out a little tough. Okay, come on. You can get out of there. Maybe. Boy, that one's tough. Do I got a wrench? That I can maybe loosen with? Oh, let's see what else I can drop today. There we go. Tighter fingers. And I lost one washer. Boy, I'm dropping everything today. Okay, so this should be able to come out now. And now I have my angle irons all set to where I can start drilling some holes. Alright, I drilled one hole, and now I'm going to try to drill the rest. Alright, there's two. Now let's do the next one. These will be easier to do from the other side. Alright, 3 of the 4 are done. 1 left. Oh, now I got a vice grip in the way, so here, let me move this one down to this end. Let me try to grab onto something. There we go. So I'm drilling through both at the same time, that way I know they're lined up. Ooh, this is heavy on that side. Do I have something that can hold it? There we go, that's a little better. If I could put something else in there. There we go, that just holds the far side. Alright, and this hole will be about right there. Yikes! That's hot. I got a pair of gloves here someplace. There we go. Let's go back with this. And maybe another little drip. And drill away. Alright, that one is done. Whew! Lots of stuff. Okay, now I have to drill the holes through the angle iron that's going to mount to the frame. And then after I get done with that, I'll have to drill the holes that are going to go through the both angle irons between the frame and the tank. So, alright, here we go again. More holes. I'll be back when I get done drilling them. Okay guys, learned a few things here. Can't put a hole where I put that one because I got a rivet right there, so I'm going to have to move it forward and then do a little bending around that rivet. But other than that, things are starting to look pretty good here. I think this is going to mount in right here. Really nice. If you want to see. And then I got a little bit of a problem on this side too. I just got to bend this side because I decided I was going to reuse that hole. So I got to bend around that rivet a little bit and then drill 3-4 holes through the frame because I got one, because I want to mount something up here toward the front. And that's going to take a longer bolt with some washers or something to go around that little bit of a curve right there. But I'm getting there. Just got to do a little cleanup and drill some holes through the frame, and I think we're going to be in good shape. So let's go keep working on it and talk to you when I get that drilled. Okay, I moved the hole. So now I got the markings where each of the holes go. So now I'm going to drill pilot holes of a smaller size to get it started, and then try to get it all in there nice and tight. But I think it's getting there. We'll see when I get the holes drilled. Alright guys, gotta tell you something. I switched from the old tried and true cabled Black & Decker to the Milwaukee 18 M18, and holy crap, that cuts through the holes a lot faster. I did drill an 1/8 or a 1/4 inch pilot hole first, and then drilled the rest of the way with the half, but man, that went fast. Alright, so the next thing I got to do is get washers. I'm running out of washers. I bought plenty of bolts and nuts. I thought I'd have plenty of washers, but I'm running out. So I'm going to have to count them up and find out what I'm missing. I'll be back in a bit. Got to go run to the store. Okay, so I got my mounts here on both sides bolted in, and then I drilled a 1 inch or 2 inch hole with a hole saw to put in my filler cap. So next thing, I got to get that bolted down, and I'll show you what that kind of looks like. So it's going to look something like this once I get it screwed down, and I'll just fill up from that spot. Alright, well, I got to drill 3 pilot holes and then screw that down, and we'll finish this up. Okay, there you have it, guys. I think this is originally intended for a boat, but it seems it'll work for the truck too. Okay, so the next thing is to fit this hose onto the end of that filler tube. I think it should go on there. I tested it earlier. It seemed to go on pretty well. A lot better than the bottom half since it's a lot bigger. But it's flared out, so I think it'll work. Okay, now I have all the bolts in place. I just need to tighten them down. Already have the hose tightened down, so we're in good shape there. Then once I get done tightening all the bolts down, then I get to start running fuel line. So, well, we're getting there. A little bit more, and this tank will be in. Alright guys, I've torqued them all down. Now that tank is in there solid. It ain't going anywhere. So looking pretty good. Now we just got to put the fuel lines in and the sending unit, which goes in that hole. And then we got to figure out how we're going to run the lines all the way down that way. But hey, we're getting there. Well, I'm kind of tired, so I'm going to call it a day. So talk to you next time.
Me and the boys was sitting around drinking, we was talking about things that we was thinking, when all of a sudden what comes out of Bill's mouth? Said I'm getting old and fat and slow, and I don't recover like I did before from nights of rabble, rousing and too much fun. Well, I looked around and we all agreed, and I had a drink and I ordered 3, and I staggered back to do it all again. Then we made an oath on a rum and coke with the best intention, I'm sure you know, that we would stop this living in excess. We're gonna have one more party, one more special occasion. Do it Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, holidays and weekends. We can have one more party. There's more hell we should be raising. One more party now, one more party tonight.